Everybody log in as quickly as you possibly can. Logging in, please.
For his like teacher development, are you trying to be a teacher?
Policy communications, we have A, B, I'll wait for everybody to log in, and then I'll send the worksheets. We're going to pull up communication handout 1A.
Okay, just leave it up and put your, just leave it up and get your other stuff to do. That's all you can do.
Anyone else need a flash drive?
Did you send them out already?
No.
What do you think?
I did not.
Okay, where's your pass? Good, then you're starting. Because now you're causing my class to get behind. No, because you caused my class to get behind. You'll get your computer up. I don't need to talk to you.
Let's go. Log in. We got a lot to do. If you are logged in, Mr. Stickel is going to send handout 1A, B, and C to your Z drive. Handout.
Good night. Yes, good night. I gotta refresh it. Right now.
That's the issue. We have to wait for everybody to get logged in, so we only send it once instead of 27 times.
Wait, hold on. Database thing?
Nope. Communication handout.
What do you want, B? What do you need first?
Send out all three.
I am.
Open
That's
one
perfect. Please open 1A.
Dude, Internet Explorer
Get the Internet Explorer is randomly opening again.
Don't close it, just leave it up.
Leave it up and ignore it.
Alright, you're on your own, I'll see you later.
That's minimizing. That's not crazy.
Oh, is it minimized?
Stickel, bring me food.
Whoa, the handout left.
Just leave it up.
Let's see.
Bring me some food.
It's not.
Is it playing?
It is.
I don't have.
You do not have an issue.
This
This is where we're going to type our terminology. Now pull up 1B.
Hey, Sue.
Nick, who's gonna be your Valentine?
Alright, so this is a Kim chart. You're going to terminology, description, and then how you remove it. Good stuff?
Okay, the next hour.
Okay.
Thanks for
Almost even my phone. Alright, so 1A is your Kim chart. This is where we're going to put our terminology today.
I can't find it.
You can't find it?
What's going on? Why is it like blank?
Most of communication.
I never got it.
Okay.
I'll just pick this thing.
B.
Which one are we doing?
It's just like holding
I need help.
Alright, you got 1A up, and that is your Kim chart where you're going to put your terminology. You got 1B up. And this is where we are going to do our bell work. Handout 1A and 1B. You got your Kim chart?
Mr. Dell. Mr. Dell.
There's where you're going to type everything you know about ethics, copyright laws, and acceptable use.
Mr. Dell.
Where's the bell work box? Hold on. Of 1B.
Well, congratulations. If you like these definitions, I say stay with them. That is fantastic.
Mr. Dell.
Hello?
Why?
Sorry? You know why? Don't you hate it that keeps popping up? What are we working on? Except for you.
For his teacher development.
Mr. Dell or Mr. Stickel?
Huh?
For who, Mr. Dell or Mr. Stickel?
Well, what the fuck's in here?
Not bad.
Alright, where's my Valentine now? Yeah, you're my Valentine, not my secret.
Chris. Chris.
I know. What's up?
Yeah. It's supposed to rain on Wednesday.
I was just adding on.
Thank you. Did I like it?
What's up?
Yeah, what if?
It's really cool. I don't know what we're doing. I heard.
Yeah, I don't know.
All in one day, you said. What are we doing?
Who's your Valentine?
What are we doing?
Who's your Valentine? Mr. Dell, what are you doing?
Don't grab our elbows.
This one? Oh,
There's something
What?
Austin, we're going to deal with her.
That's what I heard. I heard it's raining.
No work. Everything you know about ethics. Yes.
Yeah, the tutor.
Did you go to your seat? Oh, you already got it. You've already got it.
What's your other one?
Yes, Ms. Hall. How can I help you? You like it? I would delete it and you don't know anything about ethics, copyright laws, or acceptable use guidelines? Salad classroom, I mean, not here.
No. Mr.
Not
Dell.
here.
We're supposed to be the one with the cab on it. This one. We're supposed to be the one.
This is what we're going to use for our terminology. This is what we're going to do on the last part of the lesson, right here. And you're going to be typing everything you know about ethics, copyright laws, and acceptable use guidelines. Oh. Nick, now that you know what to do, you're off somewhere else, as opposed to doing what you should be doing.
He might be out.
Oh, we are ready for discussion?
I have a water bottle.
Bring it on!
Yeah. Who's your Valentine?
All right, for those of you who are still behind, we're going to move forward without you. What do you know about it?
No. Dusty, what do you know about ethics?
Nothing about it? They know about it. Okay. I really want to go into business with you. Because business is all about money, right? Not ethics.
How'd you do?
We can be like Lowe's and Home Depot. They don't give a shit about anyone.
That's my part. Who's you ready? What's up? Oh, what are you right? I don't know.
Oh, what? You're fast now.
All right, guys.
Struggling?
What do we know about ethics?
Struggling?
Yeah.
You want to write what you wrote? Would you like to read what you wrote? You didn't do it yet?
No, I did it. It's just that.
Alright, well, what do you think about mentally? Huh? Yeah. What is ethics? Is it only about business? What else is it about? It's about what?
What's in what you're
Write that.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
What did you decide? And so what is the answer that's on there?
Good. You think I will be able to do this?
Right and wrong in rules. Right? Is that what you read? Right and wrong? Yeah.
Nah, because
Yeah. Okay, we've had some participation. Someone over here says that ethics is about right and wrong and morals. What do we think about that? Do you think that's a positive description of ethics? Would you add anything to that?
Business decisions want to be like based on unethical decisions.
So it's not fair to people. Okay. So we had some more input. If you make unethical decisions, it's not fair to people. What else? What did unethical decisions create? Problems. Problems with your employees in what way?
Like, you decide to cut back on your hourly wages.
So would that be considered unethical or just a business decision? Guys, if you're not going to participate in this conversation, then just quiet. Cool. So, what do you guys think? Add anything more to the ethics discussion? No? So right, wrong, morals. If you make decisions that are unethical, you could affect employees. What about personal ethics? What about ethics for yourself? Yes, you may.
Also, right?
You're absolutely right on. Would there be a set of ethics for your own personal conduct? And would that be different than a set of ethics for business conduct? So you wanted to run with ethics? What conversation is going on here? Is it about ethics? Excuse me? Is it? All right. So if we're going to join this conversation, that'd be great. If not, then we won't have a conversation at all. Would there be a set of conducts for personal ethics, and would it be different for business ethics? Why? Because they're two different things? So personal ethics, we're talking about right, wrong, we're talking about morals. Do you think there would be a set of ethics or behaviors that a person might put forward when they're with a group of people? And would that be different than a set of behaviors and ethics and code that that same person might have in private? Why?
You're different around others.
Why are you different around others?
Because you're fake.
Because you're fake? Is that legit? Is that
Yeah.
because you're fake? You don't want people to get the wrong impression of you? It does sound better. Although yours might be seriously correct. When we have this different set of behaviors, when we're when a group of people, are we trying to protect something? And not a burp?
Pretty much.
Are we trying to protect something?
Yes.
What?
Your reputation. And your
Reputation. And what else?
business. And your business.
So we're trying to protect something. We're trying to protect the reputation. We're trying to protect the brand.
Okay.
So would you consider yourself a brand?
No.
I would.
Why?
I would consider you absolutely a brand. And every action that you take either adds or takes away from that brand. That's the personality that you put forth to the public. That's your brand.
I'm not a person, I'm a business.
You're an entity, right? You have friends.
Okay, let's not.
I didn't mean to jump in, coaches. Let me back that up. Do you have friends?
Sure.
Do you have close friends? Do you have close friends that feel positive about you? If you were to lie to one of your close friends about an important subject, how would that affect your brand?
Not at all, they wouldn't catch me. I'm a great liar.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I want to go into business with this man.
We're gonna be rich.
They would not catch me, he says. Yes,
No, we should.
you may. So would that affect your brand?
Yes.
Why?
People won't trust you.
It'd break down trust, right? So we've said that we have some private ethics and we have public ethics. How can we tie that to business ethics? Is there a combination there? Is there any point where they meet up?
Yes.
What would that point be?
Private ethics would just be like your common, you should already know, they don't have to say it. And then public is it's written down. Like, these are our ethics about our company.
Exactly. Input? Did you have something?
No.
For real?
So we talked about branding, we talked about protecting our reputation. It really does apply to business as well. What might be an example of something that might happen in business that would not be ethical?
Sexual assault.
Yikes.
Yeah, everybody famous.
Criminal, definitely. Unethical, yeah. I would say it fits unethical first and then criminal, right?
Yeah.
Can we think of something that is a little bit less criminal than sexual assault?
Right. Come on. Come on.
Let me see.
An example of something from the business world that is unethical but not totally criminal.
Stealing.
Hmm?
Stealing.
Isn't that criminal?
Stealing is also criminal.
Child labor laws and like having people work over them.
That would be unethical, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if you ask them not to report it.
Right.
Very unethical, but also criminal.
Having,
don't
not
think that
giving
exists.
someone.
You didn't think criminality existed?
No, like how can you have something unethical that's not criminal?
Go ahead.
Having some, not like non-maternity leaves.
Okay,
That's unethical.
right. How about product-based or service-based? Go ahead.
Couldn't you like you like make a product and say it's like really good, but like use really cheap material for it, and you just overhype it.
Is that criminal?
No.
Is that ethical? Exactly. Yeah. And that was actually an example that was brought up earlier in the day. What if you actually created a business plan? And your business plan was to create this really low quality product. Sell as many of them as you possibly could, with the complete understanding that you were going to give no service for that product whatsoever after you sold it. And you knew you were going to get thousands of complaints, but your business plan was to shut down sales of that product as soon as you made as much money as you possibly could. Is that fraud?
No.
Why would that not be fraud?
They didn't receive a product.
Yeah, they didn't have to sell a good one. They still sold a product.
So they ripped them off.
Definitely
It's a rip-off.
unethical.
But it's
Borderline criminal. Depending on what state you happen to reside in.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll bet this person over here would figure out all of the laws for the state that he was in before he went into that business. And I have tons of cash, so I will be your money man. So that's an example of, if you were to put that business plan in motion, would you have a sustainable company?
yeah, if you make the money that you wanted.
When I mean sustainable, would it have a long life?
No.
You would get shut down, or you would have to shut down very quickly. So that's a perfect example. Thank you, guys. So we're halfway done with our objectives for the day already. We're going to talk about personal ethics. We're going to talk about professional ethics. We're going to compare the two. So real quick on your Kim sheet.
Oh, wait, go back. Yeah, go back.
Want to go back one?
Yes.
Get your ethics, or get your objectives down on your bell worksheet. You already got yours done, right?
Nice.
I don't know how you got one that was pre-filled.
Mine is
Did?
Is that unethical? Is yours empty?
No, I just did mine really cool.
Okay.
Oh.
Are we ready for the official definition of ethics? All right. So catcher? Varsity?
No, it's all like seniors and stuff. So next year, once they're all gone, it'll be open.
Figured a batting order yet?
No, we already got our schedule and everything, and we have a game next week. We've had like one actual practice.
Is this lack of organization ethical?
No, not for me.
You ready to move on?
That would be good.
Pull up your Kim worksheet and go ahead and write the official definition of ethics on there, please. Thank you so much. Yep.
Where is it? Oh.
Perfect.
Wait,
So
what?
A, 1A is your Kim worksheet. That's what it is, terminology. Perfect. Memory strategy. How will you remember The definition of ethics.
All of them are
You
filled
can
out?
delete it all.
All of them are filled out?
No, you know.
All of them?
No.
Where?
You know why? Somebody typed it on there.
Did they?
Mm-hmm. When you pass that around, somebody typed that out.
Oh boy.
That would be Akmar.
Ahmad did that?
Yep. That's who you left it with, remember? You need to go back and get it.
This teaching thing is hard.
Well, work on it.
I'm working on it.
No. Work on it. Learning thing.
I've been working on it since grade 0.
Good.
Since grade 0.
I've been working on it for 60 years. Still haven't got it down.
This thing?
Can you go back, please?
Learning.
Oh, I want to move on.
Here it is.
Still learning.
Every day.
Are you a
What
visual learner?
did you learn today?
Huh?
What did you learn today?
I learned not to listen to Nick.
Was that a long time ago?
No. So just to recap, ethics are about making choices. A lot of times it's about feelings. It's feelings of right and wrong. So there's your definition, your official definition of professional ethics. So let's get that on your Kim sheet.
Where do I write this?
Handout A. So pull up handout 1A. Exactly correct.
You write that one there? You write this on A?
No.
This is.
You see my hand?
So you got that too?
Write the other one.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Is it all of it or just some of it?
That's all of it. That's the whole thing.
I'm helping someone. What do you have? Good.
That's ethics.
Where are you
It's
guys?
helpful.
Got it.
Is it back in the drawer?
All right, while you're typing that, anybody got any input as to what might be an acceptable use guideline? What does that mean?
Oh, Mr. Dell.
Yo. I forgot.
Yeah. Hey, I answered the last ones.
What's that?
I answered the last one.
You did.
I did too.
Who gave us answers?
Nicholas
Oh.
Things you wait for.
Whoa!
and Amir.
Who gave us answers?
I did.
You are not. You said I am not participating.
I'm participating.
What?
Who else gave us answers?
Mystery.
You gave us an answer. Oh, you did it? Forget it then.
I got something for you.
Oh, you don't? How about this one?
I can't taste this.
Who did I miss? Because you weren't paying attention during the
Hey,
first one?
Sam, name a band or solo artist that's inspired.
Nope, that's cheating.
No,
Don't tell him.
stop.
No, please don't make me.
No, please.
You look at my age. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
REO?
Sure, I'm saying it.
REO Speedwagon? Am I old? I'm old.
I don't know.
Okay, so what was the first term? Because back here in the back we didn't catch it. The first term was ethics. What was the definition of that term?
The moral principles that govern human interaction and how they affect our conduct in daily life.
So the first term was ethics. I'll take it. So did we already compare and contrast personal ethics to business ethics?
Yeah.
What did we say?
You can't have forgotten.
It's easy for me to forget stuff.
Oh, is it? Okay.
He's not an author.
Did we compare and contrast personal ethics to professional ethics? And what did we say about it?
Personal and professional. Personal you do it by yourself, and then professional.
Right. What else did we decide about both? What is similar about both? Okay. But what did we discuss about both? What are we trying to protect with both?
Our reputation, our brand.
Our brand. We're trying to protect the brand with both of these, right? Acceptable use guidelines. Let's get that on our Kim sheet. And then we're going to open handout 1C. And we are going to create a classroom acceptable use guideline that we're all going to sign. Is that fun?
Yeah.
Woohoo! Yeah. What's up? That is not the way it's supposed to look.
Wait, that's not supposed to look.
No.
Oh man, I was wondering what someone else's signature is supposed to look.
Did you get rolled?
Who's not here? Raise your hand.
They're not here?
Who's not here? Raise your hand.
John?
Mentally or physically?
Yeah.
Physically.
Multiple people.
Really?
Is that Brooklyn?
We all good with this term?
Wait.
All right. Computer and Internet acceptable use guidelines for the 6th hour Mr. Stickel classroom. Things that we want to do, things that we don't want to do. What is the very first item on there?
You got them already? Why are you giving out suckers already?
Because most people answer questions before we're done.
I'm going to charge you for suckers.
Yours has been modified.
Unofficial.
You tried to read it, right? So, do we want people to lie in this classroom?
No.
Yes.
Do we want people to, what's the second one? Distort in this classroom?
Yes.
Do we want them to harass?
Yes.
We want to be able to harass?
Yes.
No.
Okay. What about offend?
No.
Yes.
No.
On one seat. To lie, distort, harass, or offend. Does that sound good? Do we want to leave it the way it is? Has anybody got any input as to what might make it better?
Uh-huh.
What? What does yours say? What does yours say? The very first line.
Live, distort, harass.
What was that word?
Okay.
Before offend.
Harass.
Intentional.
Intentionally?
Yes.
So sometimes we offend each other in the classroom, right?
I never would have.
We would never intentionally offend those. So let's modify our document. Let's put intentionally in front of the word offend.
Oh.
What? Yes.
I'm being stared down by Nick.
What? Okay.
Where am I?
Yeah. How'd you know? Okay, what's the second line on our... All right, unofficial business, what does that mean? What does unofficial business mean? Okay, now apply that to the classroom.
It's not said.
No, you can't.
Like, you don't have to do it exactly.
Okay. Have we ever done anything in a Stickel classroom or any other classroom that wasn't related to the classroom that we were in?
No.
Yes.
I'm always on.
No.
Yes.
That's a good thing though, right? Because teachers are sometimes flexible, and if you're ahead of the game and you've got something to do for Mr. Green, we allow you to do that, right? So do we want unofficial business in our document?
I don't know.
If we take it out, can I have the flexibility to allow you to work on something for some other class?
No.
Yes,
You said take it out.
I want to take it out. I want to take it out so I can be flexible and allow you to do work for other classes. So we're not going to sign that form with that line in there. We're going to take that line out. Does that make sense? So we're going to remove unofficial business from our document. We don't want it there. We don't want to sign it with it in there. So let's take it out.
The whole thing?
Unofficial business. We don't want that line at all. The bullet point as well. What's the next one?
Download copyrighted material.
Did we miss one?
Unlawful activity. Oh, that one?
Yep. Use accounts other than your own without permission.
Want to see what it is?
Is that a good thing to have in our use documents? What could happen if we were to use accounts of other people? Okay, what else? That's criminal.
Yeah.
No. So what could happen if you were on your computer and you were logged into Facebook and you were logged into your personal email and you were logged into Synergy and someone else from the classroom came over and started doing an internet search on your computer while you were logged in? So you walked away.
What's your fault for leaving it open?
If they were nice, and if they were following our document that we're putting together, that's what they do. But what if they were unscrupulous and unethical?
They could put less a little bit on it to make it look like you're not as good as you actually are.
Right? So they could be devious, or they could be criminal, and talk about blackmail. You said blackmail! What else could happen if you left all your accounts up and someone else? You could lose everything. What if you had your financial information up on the screen? You could lose all your money. So is this a good line to keep in our?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we're gonna leave it in there. What's the next one?
Unlawful activities.
Unlawful activities. Yeah, I think we don't want to be criminal. I think we'll leave that one in there. What's the next one?
Download copyrighted.
Download copyrighted material. Is that against the law?
Yeah. But no, you just can't sell it. Isn't it like not even gonna download it, you just can't distribute it?
I think that you've met the fine line definition there. Let's talk about music. Who all has music on their phone? Who has music on their phone? What account do you get your music from?
Apple Music.
You get it from your, what's the service called? Apple Music? Do you have a service? Spotify. My son uses Spotify. Do you have a service? Which one? Spotify. You have a music service? What is it? iTunes. What's the service you use on your phone? Spotify? What's yours? Pandora. I've heard most of these today during our discussions. My question is this. Does anybody pay to download that music? Anybody in the room?
You can download it.
What do you download that costs?
You do a CD.
Yeah. Is everything at a cost?
You can use iTunes.
So what do you have to pay for?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. What have you paid for? An album? So a full album? Okay. Was it recent or was it older? Older?
I don't know.
Who else had their hand up over here? So when you use the Spotify, Pandora, what I heard Google Play, do you have to pay to have access to those?
No.
Why not?
Last year or 2 years ago, I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't want to tell you this.
You just don't,
No,
right?
like that yet.
Is Pandora or Spotify, are they violating copyright by allowing you to have that music for free? Why not? They're not. They're giving it to you for free, but they are making money. You're almost there. How are they making money?
The ads they play.
Who said it?
Me.
What'd you say?
The ads they play.
Exactly. So, we have to make an assumption about those companies that they are actually paying the artists that have provided that music because of a lack of lawsuits. If they were violating copyright, they would be sued, correct?
Yes.
So, it's a different business model where they're showing you ads and the companies are paying to get that ad on their portal, and that's how they're making their funds, which allows them to give you, except for the albums that you specifically wanted, your music for free. And you, I don't know what you're paying for. All of it? So unlimited access for a subscription. And is Spotify, does it charge you a subscription? Do you see ads when you're in there? So that's how you are paying, by viewing someone's ads. Cool? What's the next one on our list? Commercial purposes and personal financial gain. Did we want you guys to use any of the products in this classroom for commercial purposes or personal financial gain? What's that? Is there anything in here that you can take on a street corner and sell?
Yes.
What?
Things that people's bags.
Yeah. So let's leave these two in there. Sound good?
I don't know.
False identity and communication. What does that mean?
Blackmailing.
You always want to go to blackmail. Think of a different criminal activity.
I did it.
Think of
Fake
abduction.
I did it.
Think of an identity theft. Yeah, that's another fraud. That's good. But the reason the personal, how's it written? False.
Identity and community. Making a fake username.
Yeah.
Catfish. There it is.
So kind of an aside, off to the side here. I have an 8-year-old daughter who has been begging to get on the internet for years. Why would I be hesitant to allow my daughter to have internet access? One thing, what else? What type of things could happen?
There could be like a stranger asking if they can be on.
Exactly, luring.
I mean, if you want to go Minecraft, let it be.
Yeah.
But that's not the best idea.
Minecraft?
Yeah.
Roblox? I don't know.
Is there some kind of messaging service within Minecraft?
Minecraft is bad
Can
idea.
players message each other?
Yeah, I wish you did that on
They
the
can?
Should I let my 8-year-old get in there where players can message each other?
Okay, then there are those things where you can just play with the whole world, and you can text and all that, and some people try to sell stuff on it and all that.
On
It happened to my cousins.
Minecraft?
Yeah, it happened to my cousins. They almost actually bought something from someone.
Who
In a gaming world?
Like Law and Order.
When I finally let my son on the internet, he was probably in the neighborhood of 9, and he got on World of Warcraft with me, and we were playing together, and then all of a sudden he was receiving whispers from other players. He's 9 years old, and there's other players, who knows who they are, trying to figure out where he lives, what's his age.
Oh, an avatar or something?
See what I'm saying?
Your avatar looks cool.
What does it take to garner the attention of a young child? What comment does it take? Your avatar is cool looking. How long have you played? Where do you live? What's your address? Are your parents at home?
My username is my address. No one ever saw it.
No one's ever?
No.
So anyway, I am personally thinking that the false identity should stay in ours. I don't even know what you're talking about when you're saying catfish.
You never seen that show?
No!
Wait, on that show?
Somebody explain it to me.
I completely forgot how to explain it, but I know what
Catfish is
you're
like-
talking about.
When people make a fake account trying to get with something.
Yeah.
So like, I make a fake account saying like I'm Linda. And I'm trying, I'm trying to, and like I just pretend I'm dating, and I make an account. And I say I'm Linda, and like I'm 25 years old. And I'm like, oh hey, let's go out to eat. But I'm actually a 16-year-old dude. But I say I'm Linda.
Gotcha. And so that's what I think of when I say catfish.
They gave it to you.
Yeah, dude.
From now on, I will think of that.
Are there two main people gay?
Fake.
The camera guy. The camera guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Misrepresentation of the school. Do we care about that one?
Is my hair.
Yes.
So we'll keep it in there. We won't talk positively or negatively about school. How's that sound good?
Yes.
All right. What's the next one?
We got Y.
Yeah. Interference. What?
With technology, operations, electronic change, letters, notifications, email, or filing.
Or files.
And then there's two more.
Unsolicited electronic communication. So we're not going to spam. Disruption of electronic communication. We're not going to shut down all communication systems. I think it's good. Does everybody look like it's good? Let's sign it and save it.
How do you sign it?
Type your name.
That's it?
Yep. Please do. Not you.
So
Well, someone else's name was on here, so I had to.
Are you going to put your name on there?
Yes.
Even after they did all the work, you're going to put your name on it.
I'm gonna, I'll
Okay.
what it's called.
I don't know if that's ethical.
Hold on, it smells like Carson. That's a good one, actually.
Are you going to forge your own signature?
It's not, doesn't it?
I think our document is good, so we're gonna sign our name at the bottom, type our name at the bottom, and save it
This
off.
is a valid answer.
Cool?
Yeah.
We didn't type twice.
You said Ursula. Ursula.
What's up?
I don't know any other name.
You don't have to, just put your name in there.
We have to put our middle name.
Yes, you do, now that you've asked.
I thought you just told me to put my middle name.
No.
Do you put your middle name?
Put your middle name, whatever you are comfortable
Yeah, it
with.
looks so.
Can I go to the bathroom?
So we talked about everything that has to do with the acceptable use guidelines. Yes, in a moment. Not yet. Bring up your Kim worksheet and copyright is up on the board.
Where?
Right there.
Change the font. Anything.
Hey, oh, you haven't got them in there yet.
What do we do with them?
You didn't do any of your terminology.
Yes, I did.
You did? It's all there, I can tell.
I put it over here in the wrong spot.
Oh, did you put it in the wrong spot?
What do we do?
Are you following me? Okay.
What do we do?
Have you got your Kim worksheet up on the screen? You signed that, you saved it, that's good.
I did it, but it wasn't good.
Pull up
And I had to do that one.
and just put copyright on the next line. Oh, we're almost done, guys. So close.
Violet. Where's the one? Where is it, like in front of the river?
You all good?
What happens to you?
These ads are ridiculous.
All right, what do we know about fair use? Anybody got an idea what that concept might mean? Do it.
As a general rule, you may not use copyrighted materials unless you have the owner's permission.
As a general rule, you may not use copyrighted materials unless you have the owner's permission. What do you think fair use applies to specifically?
What?
Off-brand.
Hmm?
Off-brand things.
Off-brand things? That's interesting. Okay.
Don't touch stuff that is not Family Dollar.
Are we talking about bad about Family Dollar?
No, we are not.
Okay, good.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's not even, everything's not even worth $1.
So, Mr. Stickel has a book for Microsoft 2013, but he only has one book. But he wants to teach everybody about concepts that are in that book. So Mr. Stickel has made a bunch of copies of certain items for within that book. Is that or is that not a violation of copyright?
That is copyright.
And once he asks them for permission.
So it is a violation, strict violation of copyright, right?
But no one needs
Dustin,
to
I beat you
know.
by 1 point.
And no one needs to know. Okay. Well, possibly until we talk about the concept of fair use. What was the definition of fair use again?
As a general rule, you may not use copyrighted materials unless you have the owner's permission.
Okay. And it goes on a little bit farther. You may use a small amount of the copyrighted material for educational purposes. Educational purposes. This is what is known as fair use. That's your definition of fair use. Let's get it in our chem worksheets, and yay, Mr. Stickel is not in violation of copyright
Let's go.
I'm calling the police. I don't know.
because of fair use. You're not buying it?
Let's see it.
You got Mr. Dell?
Yeah.
You have 6 minutes.
We are wrapping it up.
Closure.
We're closing it up.
I stopped there.
In a moment, we are closing it up.
Dang it,
I
I
am
just logged
letting
off.
you
You
continue.
gotta go back too.
Sam, I just logged off.
With fair use.
Oh wait, fair use?
I just logged off.
That's not fair. You know fair use? Okay.
Yeah, we just want to make sure they get the definition. You get the definition of fair use, right?
I logged off.
That's all right.
What's for you?
Let's go back one.
You're a copyright violation.
You want the law or you want fair use?
I came up.
You may be able to use a small amount of the copyrighted material for educational purposes. That is fair
Can you
use.
just save it?
Sam,
Save it or
where's that video going?
Yeah, save that off. What's up?
Where's that video going?
Grand Canyon University.
Oh, dang.
You know that university that you spoke so highly of?
You guys suck.
That university you spoke so highly of
Yeah.
in that amazing, amazing writing essay that you sent me.
Yeah, GC.
What?
We're just gonna watch a video about it.
Not about you, about me.
Dude,
About how badly I suck.
Chris, when they turned around, I was doing blood. I didn't think it was gonna see me. I was gonna stand up and start yelling.
You are totally going to get me an F in this class.
Oh yeah.
Wait, so you're getting ready on this?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, hold on.
Thank you.
Hey, flip them off. Mr. Sdell.
There's one of Dustin just going.
I really appreciate that you paid attention.
Oh yeah.
After I called you out and tried to intimidate you and harassed you. What was the other words you used? What were the other words? Offended. Are we good?
Yeah.
All right. In your handout, 1A, at the bottom, please summarize.
Actually, I don't know.
Is it 1B? It's 1B.
Sure.
Yeah, 1B.
I logged off.
You did not. Summarize in the bottom of 1B. The importance of today's lesson.
Was that we were being killed.
And you are individuals.
At least they didn't look at that.
When you are done with your summary, please put all 3 handouts in the Synergy Dropbox for today's lesson. This endeth the lesson. Thank you.